Welcome back to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. And now we have two very dear friends here.
We have a full house.
We do. Isabella Hoffman is an actress best known for her roles on Jag, Dear John, Providence, Beggars and Choosers, pretty much any show that has been on television in the last 20 years, everything from ER to Grey's Anatomy. She's also well known as the mother of the talented Atticus Baldwin. Atticus Baldwin is a self-advocate and a performer specializing in vocal impersonations. Maybe you could do a few of those for us today. He has performed with the Miracle Project and Spec Labs. It's so good to have you guys here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks. And I feel like that didn't even cover half of the things that you guys have done. We had to minimize because we could be here all week talking about how many things you guys have done in your lives. But so happy to be here. There's a segment that Nancy and I used to do all the time called Autism Family Portraits, where we take an opportunity to talk with a family about autism in their lives. And so we wanted to start by asking you guys a little bit about your origin story, how autism came into your lives, and what that was like for both of you.
Should I take this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, ours is a unique story. Atticus was born at 26 and a half weeks, and he's had about 11 surgeries and things like that. So we spent 3 months in the hospital when we were first born. So many things happened during that time. Our experience may also be unique, but I'm going to reference it because I think it's important, is that his father at the time, too, was struggling with drug addiction. And so that left me by myself when all this was happening, for the most part. So that being said, the reason I'm bringing that up is because of his prematurity and because of all the things that were going on with his body, et cetera, the autism was not a prominent thing. There was so much else going on. Yeah. It was hard to pinpoint. So we had physical therapy and things like that. And when it did come up a little bit later, when he was a toddler, I also noticed a little bit of a change after, the shots. They wanted to give him the 4-in-1 shot because he was poked so many times. He's had Broviac tubes. They would poke him every day. It was a very, very hard time. I'm surprised that he doesn't have, well, he probably does have dinosaur memories of that. He's a warrior. Yeah. He's a warrior. But I think all kids with autism are warriors, for that matter. It takes a lot to navigate this world when you are autistic, and people don't know how to deal with that.
That's true.
Yep.
Very true.
And so he was very late in getting diagnosed, partly because we had moved up to Canada, and there was not a big medical community there that we could turn to for that, because we were not citizens at that time. But and partly because I think I was in denial. They attributed a lot of what was happening with Atticus to sensory integration, and it wasn't until he went to this little school in Crescent Beach called the Tiny Y, and who was your teacher there? Do you remember her name? Your very first school experience. But she said, I think he might be autistic.
I think
and I thought, no.
her name was Mrs. Wags.
Mrs. Wags. We love her.
That's great that you
can
remember that.
Yes, well, he's my encyclopedia. Thank you very much. So a lot of time went on. Yeah. And when we moved back to the States and Los Angeles, there was still another time when I didn't do the diagnosis. I didn't get him diagnosed until he was 10.
Okay.
Because he was also in, he was also in Waldorf. I put him in the Waldorf system. There's not anything They don't like to diagnose people because they don't want to use it as a crutch and things like that. They want everybody to be where they are, and they try to support that the way that they can in that way. But let's face it, our kids might need a little more scaffolding. So I did it later. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I'm putting it out there because parents are afraid. I know that parents are afraid. We don't want to face those things. But when you're ready, just get over the fear of it and go in there and see what you can do so you can find the support systems that you need. I had support systems, but they were for physical therapy and things like that.
Now, let's talk about what you did, what therapies and interventions you did with Atticus, and what worked for you.
At what point? Because when we finally got into, and that's why I wanted him diagnosed, into the regional center system, which is what I highly recommend, they have things that you can choose from. We did all kinds of things. He's had a behaviorist and mentor, personal assistant, friend, family member, Ryan, since he was about 10 or 11 when we first started to get, to have that support. We had, what? Am I talking too much?
No. It's not that, I was just, can I say something?
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was my friend Ryan Hetrick. I first met him when I was I think I was 11 or 12. And then there was a few other friends, including
I don't know, but you had social skills.
yeah.
We had adaptive skills. We had things like that.
Yeah.
We found places like the Ed Asner Family Center. We found places like Spec Lab later, but
We also there's also Miracle Project, Actors for Autism, and also, in Village Glen High School, there was the high school I went to. There was also a social skills class that they had there, and
and that was all later. But we keep building on it. We're still doing it, and now we're trying to go through the self-determination program.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is going to be great
I'm going
because
to do that too, Isabella.
if you know one person with autism, you know one person with autism. So self-determination, or being able to mold the clay of what kind of things you need for your young adult or your child, is really important. Because the most important thing, and I'll say that, is for me to get alongside, or any parent to be able to get alongside of their child and try to come from a place of understanding there.
Yeah.
Johnny Seitz once said that to me, that his mom she said, he's older. And people who are older, like Temple Grandin, they didn't have anything in place.
Yeah.
And he said that his mother used to, if he dropped an egg on the kitchen floor in order to see what would happen, his mom sort of did the same thing, just to try to get a basis of understanding for where might this be coming from, because every behavior has a root cause.
That's right.
And you need to find out what the root cause is. There's a reason that these kids and young adults do what they do. There's a reason behind it. Dig around, find it.
Yeah.
And the way that you can find it is by getting support. Get support, get what you need. It's going to take some of the weight off of you. It's going to help you in ways that you can't even imagine. But get in the system. Let them grow and blossom with your help and guidance, but have a support system in place. Get an advocate, get scaffolding, get what you need.
oh, Mom.
What? You don't have to whisper, because we're on camera.
Oh, right, okay.
What do you need? But you still want to whisper?
Yeah,
Okay.
just one quick thing.
Okay.
All right.
You should mention, to Nancy, you were on Princess Diaries too.
Oh, Atticus wants me to mention that I was in Princess Diaries too.
Okay.
Oh,
Very
I'm
good.
glad to
Sorry
know that
we
too, 'cause we
left
love
that out.
But speaking of that, and the fact that you're a performer and have been a working actor for all this time, and And genetically, on both sides of his family, he
That
comes
one
from.
was a toughie. I actually had to quit a show when he was in the hospital because I was kind of left.
I can imagine that's a
I mean,
hard
I
career to
couldn't-
have.
My circumstances were slightly different, and I don't want to, I mean, I'm not putting out anything that isn't public knowledge by, Daniel has talked about his struggles with drug addiction, but that caused me, when he did come back, I was due to go back and do homicide. Daniel was no longer on the show, but I did not feel that I could leave him
Yeah,
with Atticus.
yeah,
I couldn't do it, so I had to call up and say, I'm happy to be asked back to the dance, but I can't
Yeah.
leave my child here.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
just
you're
for
not
our
alone.
listeners that don't know, Atticus is from his father is Daniel Baldwin
yeah.
from a Hollywood royalty family, the Baldwin brothers. I don't know if we have a picture of Atticus with his uncle. I don't know if you can.
With Nancy.
And with me on the red carpet at
Oh, with
Denim
Uncle
and
Billy?
Diamonds. I don't know whether Traven can find that photo, but we honored the Baldwin brothers at Denim and Diamonds for Autism a number of years ago, and you were on the red carpet.
there
And
you
Atticus-
are.
There we
Look
are.
at you.
Look at how fancy schmancy Nancy.
I know.
there
It's a great photo.
And
Look at
there's
how
Billy.
young
Yeah, there
faced
was-
you are there,
Yeah,
Atticus.
there was me and you, and then my dad and my uncle Billy, and
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep.
when I was there, I also met Nolan Gould, star
Yes.
of Modern
Yes,
Family.
that's
Love-
right.
love
That's
him.
right.
Yeah,
But-
it is a-
But
is
so
a
you
great
have
friend.
thespians on both sides of the family.
It runs through your blood.
Yeah.
Genetically. And I was saying to you before we started that the first time I met you, I'd gone to see Nancy's son Wyatt in a production done by the Miracle Project. And it was a really good production, as they always are. And Wyatt was really wonderful. But there were two Atticuses in the show, and I have a son named Jem. So we thought that was really interesting. Then we watched the show, and I remember afterwards saying, who's that one kid? And I was you, because you were so amazing in the show. You were fantastic.
You did a great
And I said,
job.
who is that kid? And they said, oh, that's Atticus Baldwin. And I was like, oh, okay, don't know him. And they were like Baldwin. And I went, oh, it's genetic. You are heir to
Yeah.
that acting throne. So I was super impressed, and now I've seen you do many things. You're very
Yeah.
talented.
And you specialize in vocal impersonations. Can you do one for us? Just one?
Yeah. I could easily. Let me think.
Okay, think about it. I don't want to put you
Yeah.
on the spot if you're not ready to do it.
Is that your phone?
Somebody's phone is ringing.
Somebody's
Is it
phone, but it's
urgent?
okay.
It's mine.
It's fine.
Popular.
I know that in particular, there's a character from Sesame Street that you do on a regular basis. I don't want to pressure you either, but if you wanted to
Well,
do somebody.
I have
Well,
favorites too, but
Yeah,
who's
well,
Yes.
well, if you want, I can easily do a pretty good, Bert and Ernie voice.
Okay,
Okay.
we'd love to hear that.
Yeah, I can do a lot of good voices. Like, let me see if I can think of one. Okay, here's a good one. Hey, Ernie. Hi, Bert. Ernie, what are you doing? Well, I'm playing house, Bert. And I basically when I grew up watching Sesame Street as a child, I kind of listened to the characters' voices, and I kind of kept saying some of those lines in my head, as well as like with some other shows I used to watch as a kid. And I could do easily a lot of voices, not just from Sesame Street, but from other shows and movies. And speaking of which, I'm actually in the process of potentially getting a job on a certain TV show.
don't jinx it.
Okay, I
Okay,
hear
well,
Mom
we'll have
saying
to
we
have
can't-
you,
we
we'll
can't
have
tell
to announce it.
particulars.
We're not supposed to announce it yet, but you're going to have to let us know so we can tell everybody.
Okay, but hold on a second.
Talk amongst ourselves here.
No. It's still you should you can talk about, I think you can talk about, until something happens legally, we should probably not talk about anything.
Oh, right,
But,
okay.
but what you can talk about is how you are being a creative person and doing writing and performing and playing music. He has perfect pitch, by the way, and plays the cello.
Yeah.
Wow.
A gift that I did not know was there.
And when did you find that out?
He's a big Cats aficionado, and I needed to get him, when the VHS tape wore out, I got him a DVD, and when he started listening to or watching the Cats the musical, the 1990.
Yeah, the 1998 video version that they did.
He kept telling me it was wrong. And because it's a puzzle, as we all know, I kept trying to say, well, I have a pretty good ear. I sing and I do all this stuff. I said, no, it's the same show, same actors, same music. It's wrong. What ultimately happened was it was pressed, the DVD was pressed a half step lower.
Yes, so the music was like in the wrong key. Didn't like match like on the VHS
amazing you
copy,
picked
but
that up.
but they actually have that the original versions as well as that unfortunate DVD press version, but they have it on the internet, like on YouTube, Daily Motion, and of course I do enjoy a lot of musicals, not just Cats the musical, but I also like Sweeney Todd. And
That's one of my favorites,
of course
too,
I
Atticus.
really did enjoy Sesame Street, a voiceover show. I also enjoyed Arthur and a few other voiceover
And what
shows.
about Thomas?
Oh yes, I really do enjoy Thomas and Friends.
Yeah.
So here's some trivia for you. When I got out of college, the first thing that I did was I was working in the Broadway theater community in New York City, and the first show that I was assigned to work on was Cats. So not as an actor, but in production, I worked on Cats for their office managers.
Yeah.
And so I have all this Cats memorabilia from way back when, from the 80s.
That
So,
Atticus would like to see
yeah,
that.
sometime you'll have to
My
come to
friend
house.
Harry Groner originated the role of Munkustrap.
Oh,
you know Harry.
absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I gotta say, Harry was pretty good, but I gotta say one thing in terms of Broadway stage actors overall.
Yes.
I gotta say, the actor Michael Gruber, who played Munkustrap in the 1998 video production of Cats the musical, I gotta say, Michael was spot on. He was like really awesome as Munkustrap. No offense to Harry Groner, he was very
no,
good.
none taken, and I'm sure Harry would not take offense to that either, because people build on the character. He originated it, so
Yeah,
people
yeah.
build on those characters.
Yeah,
right?
Harry did a good job as Munkustrap, but I gotta say, Michael Gruber, he was really awesome.
What is your favorite song in Cats?
Well, I have quite a few. I really do like the song that they sing about, that Munkustrap sang about the great Rumpus Cat, and then in the final part of the song, they show Munkustrap and the Rumpus Cat together in the little acting scene, and that was one of my most favorite parts of the musical.
And have you've seen the show in person?
Yes.
How
yes,
many
and
times? Is it
Well,
more
well,
than
in
once,
person,
or-
I've seen it once, but I've seen different versions of it, like on the internet, like on YouTube and all that stuff. And the only production of Sweeney Todd that I've seen was the 2007 movie with Johnny Depp and Alan Rickman.
I got to see Angela Lansbury on Broadway, Sweeney Todd.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
And Lynn Carew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
What did you think of Cats the movie when the movie came out?
Oh, you mean the 2019 version?
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of interesting, but I kind of liked, in some ways, I kind of liked the 1998 film version a little bit better, and the original stage show. I mean, no offense.
No.
And I gotta say though, that Johnny Depp and some of those other guys who were in musicals like Cats and Sweeney Todd and maybe some other shows such as Modern Family and so on, I would love to work with them as an actor.
Yeah.
And my father Daniel's he's currently working on a new movie called A Walking Miracle, which is supposed to come out sometime in May of next year.
We'll look forward to that.
Yeah, my Uncle Stephen and Uncle Billy are supposed to be in it with him.
Oh,
Wow.
great. That's going to be
That's super cool.
fantastic. Yeah.
And there was a lot of movies that came out recently this year that I really enjoyed seeing, including, mind if I mention a few?
No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Well, Well, one movie that I really did enjoy seeing that came out this year was I'm trying to think. Well, uh, I enjoyed seeing Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, and I'm looking forward to also seeing the new Avatar movie, Avatar 2: Way of Water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really did enjoy. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can.
I want to
find
know
it.
if you've seen Bullet Train.
I did, yeah.
Because I thought of you the whole movie, Atticus.
The Tom, I love I loved that
Right?
movie. A little, I mean,
Why'd you think of Atticus?
Well, okay, there's a
there's
character.
a character who analyzes people based on Thomas characters.
Oh,
The
okay.
whole movie,
And
it's the
he's an
running joke.
assassin.
And the whole time, Nancy, like somebody will say something, you go, now if this were Thomas the Tank Engine, you would be this character.
You're a diesel.
And
You're
yes,
a diesel.
I'm looking for
Oh,
Yeah.
Wyatt would love that.
Right? But it's a very violent movie, I will say that.
It's-
It was a little
it's-
too much for me violent-wise.
I
It was a Quentin Tarantino kind of comedy.
Yeah, even though it was a
exactly.
little violent, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing that as well as Black Adam and Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. And no offense to DC Comics, I like them and Marvel Comics. They're both pretty cool, but I kind of like Marvel, just a little bit
more.
better. No offense.
I think
Okay.
DC will handle that.
And also, I really do enjoy. I did enjoy the movie, the sixth Jurassic movie, Jurassic World Dominion.
Okay.
And I gotta say, it was really awesome seeing Chris Pratt and Jeff Goldblum and Sam Neill all together.
Very fun.
But I gotta say, though, it's
If you ever need an assistant casting director, right here.
Right.
yeah. But I gotta say, it's unfortunate that that particular one was probably the sixth and last one in the Jurassic film series.
Yeah, but you never know. Give it 10 years and
Yeah,
then
Yeah,
but who
you never
knows? They could make another chapter. And besides voice acting and like some other things, writing, drawing pictures, and so on, I'm also really good at some other like skills, like for some artists who have disabilities, like some artists out there who are like deaf. I'm pretty good at sign language.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great skill. I'm wanting to learn sign language right now, so I might
only know a
hit you
few
up for a
things.
lesson. Yeah.
Long ago, in a galaxy far away, I choreographed a version of a variety show with people with disabilities called Staring Back.
Ooh.
Yeah,
And-
we had a blind comedian, we had a quadriplegic actor, we had a deaf actress, and she taught me some choice phrases.
Yeah, and
I love it.
So
And-
I won't show them on camera.
Have you shared them with Atticus? Does he know how to
A few.
swear?
I know one. It was just like I enjoyed the
That's
the
all right.
show very much.
Okay.
Yeah. And by the way, even though this may be a violent movie, I'm also considering seeing the Christmas movie Violent Night.
Yeah.
And I don't normally see rated R movies because they're kind of most of them are a little too scary, but there are some that I enjoy. And I enjoyed a few rated R movies, including the movie Sweetie Todd with Johnny Depp and Alan Rickman. I gotta say, it was the best rated R musical movie that I've ever seen.
Wonderful.
And by the way, I know a few signs too. Actually,
Yeah.
I know this means. I'll explain. This means nice to meet you.
Wonderful.
Means where are you from? Born here, birthday, and I know a lot of other things. And this means good.
Yes.
Great.
And
Very good.
yeah, and.
Love it.
When I was a child, I used to have a VHS copy of a video called "Signing Made Easy: How to Talk to a Person Who Can't Hear," which is a unique program for people of all ages that teaches American Sign Language. And it stars this famous Canadian deaf actor Anthony Natali, who teaches over 300 words and phrases in sign language with his hands, voice, and with music. And a few years later, I got a DVD copy of that same documentary program.
We used to watch Signing Time. Did you guys?
Oh
ever
yeah,
watch
I've
Signing
seen such
Time?
Signing
Yeah.
Time as well with Rachel Coleman and
Yeah.
her friends Alex and Leah. I also saw that one too.
Yeah, we used
And
to watch that. And
yeah.
all I remember is like red. That red is like lipstick. That's all I remember.
Yeah,
from that.
yeah. I used to watch Signing Time as well, and I'm trying to think. What other rated R movies have I seen besides Bullet Train and Sweeney Todd?
Deadpool.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Love Deadpool.
Deadpool's pretty funny.
But I
have
also
to
really,
say.
but I also loved some of the other like Marvel movies that they had in like X-Men, like X-Men First Class, Days of Future Past, and X-Men Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix, and a few. I enjoyed a lot of X-Men movies, and I enjoyed Spider-Man. I really love Spider-Man.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Now, I have no idea where we are on time.
We're so past. It doesn't matter.
I know, I'm so sorry.
No, we're
But
having a great time.
We
Who
need, we
cares?
need to do several segments, I think.
Exactly.
With
Well,
you all. There's so much to talk about.
There is so much to talk about, and especially we have a couple of new shows here at the Autism Network. One of them is Let's Talk Movies. And Moira Giammatteo and I talk movies, so sometime we'll have to have you
I
be a
love
guest.
Moira.
Isn't Moira the best?
Moira.
Well, it turns out that she and I have like very similar, dissimilar, so we're like Siskel and Ebert, but the autism mom version of it.
I love it.
And so we don't always see eye to eye on things, but we'd love to have you be a guest on it sometime,
You'd be a great
Atticus.
guest on that,
And
Atticus.
then we have this other podcast that I've talked to you a little bit about before that's called Stories from the Spectrum, where it's all people who identify as being neurodiverse or on the spectrum, and they have their own segments.
Yeah.
So like Spencer Hart interviews celebrities. You could do movie reviews for us, and we would love it.
Or whatever else.
Shannon's
Okay.
son Jem did a segment on my son Wyatt, and he's
Yeah. Speaking of which, I also would love to interview like some famous like celebrities and some other actors.
We have a
out there.
studio, and we'd love to work with you to make that happen. We want to foster artists that are neurodiverse and help them, because you got to do your apprentice years, right?
Wait,
And we want to make a sandbox where people can play and sort of find their thing, and then maybe you go out and do your own podcast later on.
Wait a minute, Shannon. Did you say foster artists?
Yes. So
As in like.
as in be a place where
Encourage
we
them.
help encourage you to find what you want to do as an artist, because there's a certain amount of time. I mean, I'm still figuring out who I want to be when I grow up.
Me too.
But you need a safe place to be where people encourage you. And that's what we want to do here, is be a safe place where we're encouraging young artists like yourself who
Yeah.
have a point of view and should have a microphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
And they could be artists who are young artists who are around my age, who are like either in their 20s, like me, 26, or they could even be teenage artists. Or
We
anything
haven't
like
put an
that.
age on it. We at all. We've just said, who is interested in doing this, and we do have a little bit of grant money so that there's a little bit of pay for you in it.
Did you see his eyes light up?
I'm amazed, though. A lot of times I think that's a big selling point, and for a lot of folks on the spectrum, this is not a big selling point. I've had one artist who said to me, "Can you pay me less because I have other programs that I get money, and if you pay me more, then I don't get that money." That to me is a bummer, and we need reform.
Yeah, no,
on
that's
that.
true. Yeah. Yeah.
But I get excited about the fact that we do, that we're not just asking you to do work, we're asking you to do work and get paid for it.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Oh, by the way, something just came to me.
Yes.
Another sitcom movie that I really did enjoy, which was also rated R, was Old School with Luke Wilson, Will Ferrell, and Jeremy Piven, and I think Vince Vaughn was in that. And
I know, and you saw that at first with your dad, right?
yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, and but I also enjoyed PG-13 movies, such as Spider-Man movies and X-Men, like some of the other X-Men movies, and other action movies like Sky High, Spy Kids, and so on.
I loved Sky High. It was one of those movies that I missed at some point, and then I watched it with my
Yep.
Yeah, Kurt Russell and
Kelly Preston, and
really good. But I've not heard about it
let's see,
until
who
I
else? Kevin
watched it 22
Heffernan
times.
and
Unsung her fabulous movie. I bet Wyatt would like it a lot.
Yeah.
Well, in any case, because we are going to have to eventually end this, but I was wondering if both of you could say a little bit about things that you would like viewers to know about the journey. Just maybe one thing, one bit of advice that you'd like to give, or one thing that you want people to know about you, leaving it kind of wide open.
About autism.
Or about autism. What would you like people to know?
You mentioned something to me earlier.
All right, but why don't you go first and give some advice?
What do I want people to know?
Yeah.
Oh, you caught me. I have so many things I want people to know. Don't do this alone. It's really okay. It's a journey. It's a club that not. I've said this before. It's not a club that I would have signed up for in college, saying I want to be part of that, or I want to be part of that. But it's a club that I am a proud member of and love the people that I have met in it, including those autistic people, those parents. It's such a great community. And for them, I always know with whom I'm having the pleasure with them, you know?
Yeah.
It's what you see is what you get, and
Amen to that.
get some advocacy and be on your way. It's not a bad journey.
There you go. And Atticus, what do you want to say?
Well, for all the viewers out there, one thing I'd like to say, if you're autistic and you sometimes have trouble with a few things, ask your parents if maybe that can help you. Like when I was younger, being autistic, I couldn't really understand people when they sometimes talk over each other and all that stuff. And I would tell them, like if one's talking, then another interrupts and they ask a question, then when they're about answering, when they're before they can finish answering, and they get interrupted with another question, and then and so on and so forth. I sometimes tell them, guys, I can't understand all of you at once when you talk at the same time. So if you guys out there, if you're kind of a autistic person who can't understand many people when they're all talking at once, please tell them that you can't. Tell them that you can't really understand them. That you can't really understand what they're saying when they're all talking at once. And another word of advice, if you need any help with learning certain skills, please ask for it. Ask your parents, grandparents, or any other members of family or friends to help you with certain particular needs that you might need to help you throughout life as you grow.
There was one other thing that you wanted to say. What was it that you wanted to? That was beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, it was
What was it that you wanted to say? Let people on the planet know about people who are autistic.
Well, having autism, being autistic, having autism, it's nothing to be scared of, and it's not like something that would cause you to get a lot of sort of like immediate medical attentions. It just means that it just would cause you to learn things in a different way than some non-autistic artist would. And I sometimes learn things kind of differently than most non-autistic people do. And I learned things by a lot of listening things, and also like watching things, seeing how it's done.
Yeah. Amazing. Great advice.
So when it comes to learning, I'm 50% visual, 50% auditory, and
What about kinesthetic, getting it in your body? Does that help?
yeah, a little bit of it does, yeah.
Amazing.
And
Thank you for those insights, Atticus. Isabella, when I look at you, I think of one of my favorite quotes from Brene Brown, which is, one day you will tell the story of what you overcame, and it will be someone else's survival guide. Thank you for being here today. Thank you both.
And thank you to our audience for this first maiden voyage back in the
Yes.
studio for Let's Talk Autism, and our other guests as well. This has been really fun. Tomorrow on the show, we have an episode of Stories from the Spectrum, and then we will be back on Monday with a whole bunch of wonderful live shows. We want to remind you, if you haven't already, that we have been giving away free tickets. We had a set of free tickets, and there might still be some available. You can, for the Ed Asner Family
Sensitive
Center.
Center?
No, actually, that as well. But for the gala happening this
Oh.
Sunday, for the Ed Asner Family Center, the table read of It's a Wonderful Life, we had 25 tickets. I don't know if they're all gone, but you can write to Milo at teafc.org and see if there are still tickets available. I know we were given 25 and there was potential for more, so definitely write for that. And then the following Sunday is when we have Sensitive Santa,
Okay.
but you should be registering for those tickets right now. Go to Eventbrite, put in Sensitive Santa Event 2022, and you'll find it and can
Yeah,
register.
one
Yes.
other thing I'd like to say,
Yes.
speaking of like the Ed Asner Family Center, you mentioned a table read of
Yes.
It's a Wonderful Life and all that
Yes.
stuff. Well, listen, I just wanted to tell the viewers out there, Matt Asner and his wife Nava Paskowitz Asner, the two founders of that center, they're very old friends of mine, and I also know some of their other friends like
Like us.
like you got like you two, and also like I know Milo Nichols.
Yes.
And
Milo's great. And Aviva.
yes, and also Will, Max, and Wolf, and Eddie, and so on.
The whole family.
And people would love watching the table read of It's a Wonderful Life. You would really enjoy it, so try to get those tickets.
Absolutely, and that helps support things that happen at the center, which we all have benefited from. So,
And you know, some of those actors who were in previous table reads of It's a Wonderful Life, and some of the other famous actors who are going to be in this upcoming one, I'd also love to work with in my career.
Like Brendan Fraser.
yeah, putting it out
He's
there.
going to be there, right?
Yeah, Brendan Fraser, J.K. Simmons, Richard Kind, Tom Bergeron, Mandy Patinkin, Martin Sheen, Lou Diamond Phillips, George Wendt, and
Wow,
you know,
what a list.
Yeah, all amazing people who are doing it or have done it before. So check that out, you guys. Go to the edasnerfamilycenter.org and you can see about it. But if you want to ask for free tickets, Milo at teafc.org. We're out of time.
We
We're
are.
way past time. Thanks for being here with us. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me.
And yourselves a hug from me. Bye-bye.